Welcome to the Studio 2121 podcast, a mental health and wellness podcast brought to you by Westbrook Health Services.
Hi, I am Kevin Trippett, President and CEO of Westbrook Health Services. So Westbrook Health Services recently received a grant from the federal government to be a comprehensive community behavioral health center, otherwise known as CCBHC. So with CCBHC and our funding, currently we are grant funded for that designation. We are working very hard with Medicaid to create a permanent reimbursement mechanism for CCBHCs. The importance of that is being comprehensive and all-serving in behavioral health. So it enables us to add what we call care coordinators so that we can help manage the whole health of an individual. It gives us the ability for those that we serve that are seeking behavioral health services to also help those individuals manage their primary health care, help them understand that we can connect you to services instead of you having to go to the emergency room. It gives us the ability to work with law enforcement so that we can ride along with them to when they run into individuals, we can help law enforcement understand how to handle individuals appropriately that are experiencing a behavioral health crisis versus a potential law enforcement issue. So we really hope that we create a more collaborative effort community-wide so that individuals are treated with dignity and respect, get the services that they need, and in the end, we feel like we can help individuals lead to a much healthier lifestyle. The studies show that individuals with behavioral health challenges often have a lower life expectancy. And I believe that's mainly due to them individuals experiencing behavioral health challenges really don't understand how healthcare plays a role in their vital well-being. So that is where we will come in with our care coordinators. We will help these individuals get connected to all the services that they need in the healthcare arena, not just the services that we provide. And, my hope is that we are able to provide a healthier outcome for those individuals. And it's also important to me that we provide a healthier situation for our staff as well. We value our staff. We don't want staff to be burned out. We want them to value not only the work that they do, but also value their life outside of work, meaning being healthy, not being burned out. And so that is our hopes moving into the future. As we expand our services and our service offerings, we are going to need to recruit and retain additional staff members to our team. This means getting out there and letting individuals know what offerings we have for you to become an employee and what that means being part of the Westbrook team and all the great things that you're able to do to meet the needs of those individuals needing services. As we look to expand our services and bring on new team members, we will be sending out various different surveys for community needs assessments. We will be sending out surveys to collaborators, to the community at large, and to our staff, so we can get a better idea on the services that is needed in the communities that we don't yet provide, how well we are doing with our current service provision, and how we are doing in relations to our staff and being a wonderful employer for all of those that are part of our team.
Welcome back to the Studio 2121 podcast. My name is Chase Goodwin, and I'm here with Alison Browning. Alison, thank you for sitting down with me.
Thanks for having me today.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty okay. It's been an exciting week.
Yeah, I heard you recently got a promotion.
Yes. Monday, I was offered and accepted the position of Youth Services Division Director.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Alison, we're here to talk about positions that are commonly needed here at Westbrook and positions that we're going to need to increasingly hire for as we expand to CCBHC. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk a little bit about care coordination, case management?
Absolutely. And in case management, care coordination, and even service coordination, they all kind of have very similar qualities, and they're all positions here that we have often open. I think Youth Services at the last count has 11 open positions. So it is definitely something that we need. I started my career in the field as a paid employee, as a case manager. And I've really, really enjoyed it. And I'm grateful for where I'm at now that I had that, because I got to understand things that going straight to being a therapist, I don't think I would have got to learn how to do and really get to be hands-on with some different stuff.
Sounds like you've been sort of playing many different roles in social work as your career's progressed. Do you want to walk us through chronologically how that came about?
Sure. So during my master's program, I did an internship and practicum here at Westbrook, and it was great. I saw almost everything we had, whether population-wise, groups, different kind of groups, whether it's SUD or mental health. I got to do everything. It was really, really cool. But because of that, I liked it all. So when I finished my internship and my practicum, I ended up going to work elsewhere. And I started as a case manager, and then I was an IOP therapist, and then I was an ACT team lead. I built the ACT team, and then I came here and I built what is going to be our youth IOP, the clinical part of it, from scratch, and then became the youth services director. So I've kind of done a little bit of everything in our field.
That's fantastic. So we're talking about being a case manager and a care coordinator and service coordinator. Can you delineate about between those for me a little bit more?
So they all have kind of different roles, but in their core, I don't think I could do my job without their existence. Like, they are the ones that, especially the care coordinators, they're the ones that make sure the client gets exactly what they need, because that is the problem I feel in kind of all of the things is when you have a client with more than one diagnosis, which is very common, they have lots of roles and lots of things they need to do and be and go. And unfortunately, we're not always cross-trained correctly, whether it's in the physical health field or the mental health field. And as a result, they don't always get all the services they need. And we don't always know that. The service coordinators, the care coordinators, they come in and they really make sure that the client understands when the doctor says to take this like this. Well, what does that mean? Whether it's before breakfast. Okay, well, I don't get up till 2. So does that count as breakfast? And that coordinator really helps make sure the client knows what to do, coordinates with the doctors and the psychologists and the therapists and all of the pieces. And because of that, the client gets the most concise continuum of care possible. And it's really, really cool when it works out the way it's supposed to. And as we switch to that model, I really first see our clients getting a level of care that I don't think they realized was available to them.
That's really exciting. So what are the daily responsibilities for these positions? What can someone expect to do when they walk in the office?
What's really awesome about these positions is they can be specific or they can be general. So everything and anything. That's what I really like about it, especially if it's kind of like I want to get into the field. For me, it was the perfect start because I got to do a little bit of everything as a case manager, just like I did in my internship and my practicum. An example of one of the positions that we have that we would need is they'll have lots of direct client care, where another one might do lots of psychoeducation. And our care coordinators, they're the ones that are going to have what we call a caseload, and they're going to make sure that those clients are doing the best of their ability on that 24 hours every single day. Now, obviously, they're not going to hang out with all of their clients every day. And the really cool thing I think about case management is it can be very independent. You know what you need to be doing that day, and you get to work on your own pace and your own kind of thing. Now, there is some stuff that overlaps with other programs and other opportunities, but at the end of the day, you get to kind of go a little bit everywhere.
That's awesome. So it's very dynamic, and it's tailored to the individual, not something where you have a checklist of I do 10 things and then I go home.
Absolutely not. And I think that's the best part of it is you come to work every day and you don't quite know what you're going to get into. You kind of have the bones of it, but the details of each piece you get to experience throughout your day. So although every day is the same, it's drastically different simultaneously. So you kind of know what to expect, but you don't know what the in-betweens are going to be. And I think that's what makes it really fun.
Yeah. So what are some of the more difficult challenges that you faced maybe personally, but also that are endemic to the position?
Oh, part of it's the communication piece. Getting everybody on the same page isn't always the easiest thing to do. I remember when I was young trying to come into the field, feeling like a grown-up making phone calls wasn't always easy, but I came into myself very quickly and was able to have a voice. And if anything, my career gave me that, not just professionally, but personally. And being in this field as a case manager to begin with to here has really helped me do that, because that advocacy piece for our clients is very important. And we don't expect that immediately. Learning how to do that is something that comes with the territory. And I think that's my hardest part, is making sure that I'm doing what is right for my client, because you are right. It's that client-centered. What does this person need? I could have two clients with the same diagnoses and the same problems, but they need very different things. And making sure I'm communicating with their whole care team, that's probably the hardest part, but it's also the most important.
Right on. So you've come a long way and filled many different roles. What kind of professional development do you think someone gets when they decide to take on the task of coordinating care for someone else?
I think that's my favorite part of Westbrook as a whole, is the professional development that comes with it. Not just the care coordinators, but all the positions, but especially those, because like I said, it is something you have to learn sort of the skills. And not only do we have programs and trainings, but we have people that we can, I call it like sitting on the couch. You can go sit on the couch and ask questions and teach me how, or how did you? And I've not run into anybody either of the times I've worked at Westbrook that hasn't had time to stop and tell me, or hasn't been able to point me to the person that I need to talk to. And I have learned so much sitting on a couch in Westbrook as a professional that is limitless, and I'm eternally grateful for. And that, I think, is just, I get really jazzed about it, because professional development, no matter if you are a BHT, care coordinator, division director, CEO, is super, super important, because this field is constantly changing and it's constantly growing. And Westbrook helps with that every step of the way, in my opinion. I think that's awesome.
So you're working very closely with clients in these roles, and it can be quite involved, right? I'm sure that you go home and maybe you're done working, but you're still thinking about the people that you're helping. Do you get to see the impact of your work often in this, or do you think that maybe you don't get to see the end result?
I definitely get to see the impact. And what I think is cool as division director is we get to see the impact all the way up, because our staff gets super excited about it. They see it too. And it is super cool, the things that they can do. Now, it wasn't at this agency, but prior, we had a client with a severe health issue. And it broke my heart. It really did. Because the system itself just, with somebody with a severe persistent mental illness, kind of doesn't always get the same level of care, because they don't know how to communicate. Again, where the care coordinator gets to come in and help with that. So this client finally got the care he needed over like 5 years. He had this problem that had a solution that he didn't have access to, because he didn't know how to ask for help. So we got a care coordinator, we got some stuff involved, and got him we got the help he needed, and we got it taken care of. That's one of the big ones. Like those come, but the little ones are really the most exciting to me. The times that you have maybe a client with a delusional disorder who for a month straight knows what day of the week it is. Like, that's a lottery win to me, and I get super jazzed. And other situations like that where you've had clients that are in the system over and over and over, but then you get a care coordinator, service coordinator, case manager that really is able to be of assistance in ways that nobody else can, and they're able to the days of the week. They know when their appointments are now because they know when the days of the week are. It snowballs very quickly. Those things that we take for granted are the things our clients need the most help with. But unfortunately, we don't always have the ability to do that. But with care coordinating, we can. And that's where that piece that we've been missing out on, we get to have. And I think that's super awesome.
Very cool. Is there any technology, tools of the trade, systems that people need to be familiar with in order to be successful in these positions?
I mean, other than what we use here at the agency, I don't think so. We are blessed with Westbrook giving us all Relias. So we get to, even if it's not an approved or training that our supervisor gives us, I've gone on and been like, this intro is really, really interesting. I'm going to go take the advanced course. And that has helped me grow in my career just since I've been at Westbrook. And having that ability here has been really helpful, I know, with my staff to learn and grow to be the best that they can be. And that's been very, very helpful.
So you mentioned there's trainings that Westbrook provides. Mm-hmm. Is there any that you can point to that you found particularly relevant to the type of work you were doing while coordinating care?
So working on care coordinating here at Westbrook, I know that I have taken a few different care coordinating case management courses, and they have been super helpful. If I was someone that was never been in the field and I took the foundations of case and care management, I would understand things on a level that I don't think you could get that quickly, because that's the one thing is it's written in a way that kind of meets you where you're at. It's not full of jargon. So you're able to process it quickly, easily, and apply it. So that's one that I think could be very helpful for a lot of people that maybe don't necessarily know what we're talking about today.
Yeah, I mean, even as a marketer, I've been trained in CPR here, suicide readiness and prevention. Mm-hmm. It's been a really great place to work to grow, not just professionally, but I think personally. Mm-hmm. It's a really cool feeling to know that even if you're just out in the street or going shopping or something, that there's people walking around every day that are ready to jump in the case of an emergency or if someone's in crisis. Mm-hmm. It makes you feel like you're part of a community of broader care, which I found really rewarding.
Almost instantaneously. I know I haven't been back in my Westbrook career very long, but it was very quick that it felt community driven and in a way that I haven't felt other places. And it felt good instantly. And you're right. The idea walking through Walmart that I think it was Sam's the other day, actually. I saw 3 or 4 different employees, and the idea that 5 of us were walking through a grocery store with safe talk training, knowing that if somebody were to need help, that there's 5 of us just in that grocery store. How many is there somewhere else? And I think that Westbrook is doing that for our communities is really, really awesome.
Pushing them out to 8 counties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for someone that might be younger and is aspiring to fill these types of positions and work in social work, work in psychology?
Not to give up. There are days that it's really tiring, and there are days that it doesn't always feel good, but that's just like any other job. And especially the school part. I know that studying isn't always the most fun thing in the entire world, but our case managers, care coordinators require a bachelor's degree. So staying in school and getting a degree in social services, it is definitely a good starting point. I love that a bachelor's in psychology gets you something. It gets you a good job doing something that you wanted to do when you started school in the first place. And what I really like about it is it kind of gives people a peer into the world that is mental health and community mental health to see if going farther for a master's degree is something that they want to do. So not giving up, finding someone that's in the field and shooting an email to a random Westbrook email even. I guarantee it'll get answered, or at least get to somebody that can be helpful and help us. Because with our internship program and stuff like that, I know I've already fielded 2 or 3 different emails since I've been here about if I wanted to be this when I grow up, how or why or what do I do to make that happen? And I've really enjoyed all of those because I know, especially as a licensure supervisor, I want the next generation of therapists and counselors to really love their jobs. And COVID made things really hard for us. So coming back and trying to get that love back, and to help people have that too, I think is something that is very important to go out and seek and find if this is a career that you want to have.
Awesome. So you mentioned that we have a lot of openings working with youth.
Yes.
Do you have any stories or experiences you'd like to share about what it's like to work with a younger population? And maybe you could specify what age groups we work with.
All age groups. I know that a lot of our openings are for like 12 to 25, but we've got some stuff in the works possibly for tinies. And I'm going to tell you, I think working with kids is a lot of fun. I feel like I get to play a lot. It's really interesting. They are so exciting because you never know what they're going to say, how they're going to say it, or how honest they're going to choose to be that day. Oh, some of the things that they just, you never know. The schools are where I've had my experience here at Westbrook so far, and watching them come in during their school day and be able to talk to a therapist or a case manager and talk about what happened last night at home. There was this one in a high school that I just thought, man, if we didn't have a therapist here, what would have today been like for her? And for me, coming into Westbrook, that was really, really exciting to be a part of because I got to watch it get better. And I think I giggled more that day than I did any other day being at the schools with the kids because they're always silly.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to the Studio 2121 podcast, brought to you by Westbrook Health Services. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. You can find more of our episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. Thanks.